tech blog Quartz is reporting that Microsoft began its Thursday morning with an all-hands meeting regarding allegations that the company's HR department has been brushing off reports of sexual harassment and discrimination from women at Microsoft, according to a story from DevGirl. The meeting apparently addresses a long email chain that began circulating on March 20th. Such chain has apparently expanded to women across the company sharing stories of inappropriate work behavior ranging from threats for not providing sexual favors to flat-out discrimination in career advancement. According to these women, after reporting their experiences to human resources, they apparently often received hostile and non-committal responses to their complaints. Game developers should be aware that some of the allegations do relate to the Core X team. Per Quartz, one employee described her experience on the X team as such: "We'd around tables with the women when I was in X Core team, and every woman, except for one, had been called a bitch at work. Before people say, this is just the next thing, as I have heard that dismissiveness way too many times within Microsoft before, the other than engineering ox, where my experiences happened were Windows and Asia. This is a Microsoft thing, a common one." When reached for comment, a Microsoft spokesperson supplied the following statement from Kathleen Hook, Executive VP of HR at the company. This statement was sent to recipients of the email chain as well. "I discussed this thread with the senior leadership team today. We are appalled and sad to hear about these experiences. It is very painful to hear these stories and to know that anyone is facing such behavior at Microsoft. We must do better. I would like to offer to anyone who has had such demeaning experiences, including those who felt were dismissed by management, to email me directly. I will personally look into the situation with my team. I understand the devastating impact of such experiences, and the SLT wants to be made aware of any such behavior, and we will do everything we can to stop it." As mentioned earlier in the thread, Inziran, our Chief Diversity Officer, will be setting up sessions the week of April 22nd to ensure we hear and are clear on the feedback, and determine what initiatives or programs should keep start based on input from this community. Invites for the sessions will be sent to all women's community groups next week. Will accommodate multiple time zones. And joining Lindsay Rain will be Erin Chappell, co-exec sponsor of the women's community at Microsoft. While I do want to create a forum for the communities on the thread, I also read and agree with the comments that for us to solve this as a company, the burden does not reside only with us women. While reading some of this is very disheartening, I am proud and encouraged to see people empowered to speak up, say this is not right, and stand together for change. Thank you. Response: free-to-play Battle Royale game Apex Legends clocked 28 million hours of Twitch viewership on February 12th, during the Twitch Rivals event, just 8 days after the game first launched, according to data checked by Gamasutra. That's 1.2 million more hours than Fortnite's biggest viewership day. That metric comes from the cumulative hours of a game's streams watched by all Twitch users across any given day. According to Gamasutra, Fortnite peaked back on July 12, 2018 during its Season 5 launch. Apex Legends, however, managed to creep upon that record even before the Twitch Rivals event burst on February 11, 7 days after launch. 1 cumulative hours were spent watching Apex streams on Twitch. The day before that, February 10th, 9 million hours were logged. Apex Legends only released a little over a week ago, and has seen a rapid rise in viewership and players since. The game, which was all at once announced and released at the beginning of February, crossed 1 million unique players just 8 hours after going live. Within 72 hours, it had already surpassed 1 million concurrent and 10 million lifetime players. Mobile developer Gamasutra have secured $145 million in strategic financing to support its various acquisition and global growth initiatives. The news comes shortly after the Harry Potter Hogwarts mystery creator laid off an unknown number of staff as a result of organizational changes. It also follows the company's decision to open a new studio in Canada to facilitate the purchase of the Bingo Pop franchise from Yukon Games, and the signing of a multi-year development deal with Disney. Gamasutra President and Q. Josh Gatto said the cash injection will also help the long-based developer expand its core franchises and live game operations. Gamasutra is executing ambitious plans for new game development, expansion of core franchise games, and building the industry's very best live game operations, commented Gatto. Additional investment in our creative and technical operations further position Gamasutra as the premier partner for owners, game development studios, and industry talent worldwide. The 2019 Game Developers Conference will feature an exhibition called GDCDADICATEDTOGAMES that use alternative control schemes and interactions. Gamasutra will be talking to the developers of each of the games that have been selected for the showcase. Octopad breaks an NES controller into 8 gamepads with a single input each, turning single-player games into multiplayer experiences built around communication and collaboration. Gamasutra had a chat with Patrick Lemieux, developer of Octopad, to talk about the unique play experiences that come from having 8 players work together on a single-player game, how all of these players can reshape a game in exciting ways, and the varied personal play styles that come up when working together. Hi there, I am Patrick Lemieux, and I am an assistant professor in the Cinema and Digital Media Department at University of California, Davis, where I teach game design, game studies, media theory, and media art. My academic research involves both writing about games as well as making games, and the Octopad is one of several projects I made after publishing Metagaming, a book co-authored with Stephanie Bullock about the games we play on, around, and through video games. From ROM hacking and speedrunning to art making on esports, Stephanie and I are interested in the strange things people do with video games and how the ways we play together can radically change the rules, mechanics, and even hardware of a given game. In Metagaming we argue that video games are not games but instruments, equipment, tools, and toys for making metagames, and the Octopad, for its part, is designed to turn old, single-player video games into multiplayer metagames. The Octopad is an alternative interface for the Nintendo Entertainment System that transforms classic titles like Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, and Tetris, Noid, Gremlins 2, and Hatches into cooperative puzzles and parties by dividing buttons up between 4 to 8 people. To introduce players to the project, I usually hold up and modify the NES controller in one hand and the snare of 8 Octopad controllers in the other while asking, instead of one controller with 8 buttons, what if there were 8 controllers with 1 button each, instead of a single-player experience? What if Tetris was a team sport? Sometimes it takes a second. But when players realize that their controller has only the button, are a down button, and nothing else. They get the idea and start forming a team. Despite playing, making, teaching, and thinking about games for a living, I actually do not have formal training in programming and game design. My background is in architecture, media art practice, and media theory. So most of my experience with video game hardware and software is in the context of museums, gallery spaces, and research projects. Although I did make an episodic RPG Maker 2000 game throughout high school, the only game I have ever sold. My game design experience comes mostly from a decade developing artworks and installations using tools like Flash, Max MSP, Arduino, and Unity. Some of the things I have made, a series of art games, designed to be projected on monochromatic paintings at the MoMA, an iPhone app for virtually scouting an abandoned house during the United States housing crisis, with Jack Steiner, an alternate reality game about the global economic downturn in the wake of the Occupy movement, with Anne Catherine Hills and Patrick Jogodo, and a solo exhibition of weird moral modifications at Baby Castles, can be found in my portfolio. Since metagaming included a series of software demos designed to extend the arguments in each chapter, Stephanie and I have been making more video games. This year, we have been cleaning them up and posting them on itch.